We got some news, and we got some news for this week. Obviously, I'm behind on a lot of my posting because, searching for jobs, being without a car, been walking around back and forth. Um, it's just killing me just having to do that. But anyway, there was a massive drug operation that was busted in Chicago, and that led to 12 arrests. 12 people associated with two distinct drug trafficking networks are slated to face serious drug charges. Now, the charges follow a major operation on the south side of Chicago, and the accused were reportedly not selling drugs, but they were found in possession of potent substances that, like basically fentanyl laced with cocaine and heroin. Now, this operation has resulted in the confiscation of drug-tainted substances, a significant cash sum, expensive cars, and semi-automatic weapons. Now, the FBI Chicago field office was the main force behind the investigation, which started last year, and it relied on only discreet surveillance. The operation's widespread nature became evident as reports confirmed that the dealers were supplying to markets beyond Chicago, which extended into the states of Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Ohio. But the identities of the people are not yet known. Um, a man robbed 7 women in one night in the Lincoln Park area of Chicago. Prosecutors say basically his line was don't be an idiot, give me your goddamn phone. Um, 2 people were arrested for human trafficking in northern Indiana. Let's see what part this was. It does not say. Okay. I guess that would be out. Okay. Um, a Michigan employee, basically a Michigan employee who worked at a casino, stole $700,000. Um, her name was Danica Nicole Young. She's 38 years old, and she was arrested on August 2nd of this month and charged with embezzlement by an employee by stealing $100,000 or more, according to Van Buren County online booking and court records. Now, according to investigators, Young allegedly took the money from the Four Winds Hartford Casino on July 30th. She was later found in Gary, Indiana, but the money is still missing, according to the television station. More than likely, she spent it. That's why it's missing. I'm very sorry for what happened, but this is my first charge, Young told a judge at her arraignment. According to court records, Young was the supervisor of the cage at the casino. Like if you ever go to a casino, there's actual people that are standing in cages, and they gotta make sure the cash is all accounted for. Shit like that. She basically has millions of dollars that she is responsible for, and investigators testified at a probable cause hearing. Young told investigators that she received a telephone call from a number that she didn't recognize, telling her to bring money to Indiana. She claims that she counted out 700,000 and put it in a bag and walked out of the casino. Now, police said Young met someone in Gary and gave them the money. According to Wood, it was unclear who the other person was or whether police were involved, but Young was arrested in Indiana and extradited to Michigan, according to the television station. But she will appear at a probable cause hearing on Wednesday, online court records show, but her bail has been set at $1 million. Now, if she's convicted, she could face a prison term of up to 20 years, if not longer. The Michigan City Prison has announced that they're going to be closing their prison. Um, one of Michigan City, Indiana's largest employers, will close its doors, and the mayor couldn't be more pleased. 416 people now work at that prison, and it's slated to close under plans made public Friday by the Indiana Department of Correction. Now, the Michigan City prison was built back in 1860, the year before Abraham Lincoln became president, and people said they're all for it. We're going through a boom cycle in Michigan City, an economic boom, and how long is it going to last? I don't know, but we have to plan for our future. And we're landlocked to the west. We got the Porter County line right there on Highway 12. We're not landlocked to the east, but we have some industry out there. So some of these areas, like the prison, need to be revitalized. Now, the Indiana State Prison closure is a last-minute addition to a DOC facilities plan that's been around for years. The decision was apparently made privately for a few weeks ago by the was privately made a few weeks ago by the Indiana Department of Correction. It was publicly discussed Friday at a meeting of the Indiana State Budget Committee. Now, the basic plan still calls for building a new 4,200 bed prison on the Westville Correctional Facility campus at a cost of $2.1 billion. Now, when the new building is completed in about 4 years, the old Westville facility will be closed on Friday. The second closure was added to the mix. Now, shutting down the Indiana State Prison would save an estimated $45 million a year in operating costs alone, and that's enough to pay for the entire project over 20 years' time. Basically, the Michigan City Prison is outdated like the one in Westville, and it doesn't come without emergency repairs on an annual basis of about $1 to $2 million a year. Said the DOC Commissioner Christina Regal. Now, we have over $380 million in planned capital at that site, but Mayor Perry says he has met with DOC officials in the past to advocate for a prison shutdown, but he was told it wouldn't happen for another 30 or so years. But they're looking forward to redeveloping the 100-acre prison site and to shedding Michigan City's stigma of being a prison town. And Michigan City Prison was one of the prisons that the former bank that famous bank robber John Dillinger had escaped from. He also escaped from the one in Crown Point too. Tyson Foods has announced that they're going to be closing 4 of their chicken plants in a small U.S. town. Let's see here. In Springdale, Arkansas, it's a blow to small communities in the U.S. heartland. Tyson Foods will close 4 chicken processing plants in Arkansas, Indiana, and Missouri, and it's going to cost people 3,000 jobs. So 3,000 people will be without a job, just like the prison one I just reported on. The prison is going to lose 416 people of their staff. So after recording record profits as meat prices soared during the COVID-19 pandemic, the company now aims to adjust to declining demand for some of its products. In addition to laying off corporate employees, Tyson, which is the largest U.S. meat producer by sales, closed 2 other chicken plants in Arkansas and Virginia this year, which 1,700 people lost their jobs. Now, local officials have said that the 4 plants have been fixtures for more than 50 years, and they were surprised and saddened by Tyson's decision to close those factories. Now, Tyson said it will move the work of the closing plants, which are located in North Little Rock, Arkansas, Corydon, Indiana, Dexter, Missouri, and Noel, Missouri, to newer facilities closer to its customers. Now, the company's chief financial officer, John R. Tyson, said that the 4 facilities account for about 10% of Tyson's chicken slaughter capacity. Terry Lance, who's the mayor of Noel, Missouri, said that the company out there employs about 1,500 workers in a city with a total population of around 2,100. It's going to hit the city pretty hard, Lance said when he was quoted by Reuters. David Wyman, who's the city administrator at Dexter, said about 683 people work at the facility in his town, and his town has about a population of about 8,000 people. Now, people need a job, and those jobs are now not here, noting that the closure also affects about 29 local farmers who own chicken houses that supply the facility, along with grain growers who produce chicken feed. Now, Tyson said it will help relocate workers and encourage them to apply for other positions, but it declined to say how many plant employers will be affected. Now, the last story here, and I've always wondered this too. Basically, I live in Maryville, Indiana, and people have always wondered how their states ever get the names. Now, here's the origin of Indiana. Where did Indiana ever get its name? Coming from Fort Wayne, Indiana, Indiana's origin has been long connected with the Native American tribes that used to inhabit the land. While many believe that Indiana went through the simple establishment to become the 19th state, it took years of territory disagreement to see the state that we recognize today. While the name came simply. The origin of the name. It is believed that the name Indiana comes from the fact that the land was purchased from Native Americans, similar to the way other states were named at the time. The name attributes back to those who were the starting point of the importance of the land. It is also believed that the name comes from Native American tribes who settled in western Pennsylvania. Now, according to the Indiana Historical Bureau, in the fall of 1763, the Shawnee tribe and other tribes who were members of the Iroquois Confederacy overpowered traders on the Ohio River. These traders were members of the Philadelphia Company, a company created to monopolize the Native American trade in the region. After discovering the attack, the Philadelphia Company went to Native American leaders asking for repayment for the loss, and due to the lack of funds for repayment, the tribes utilized lands to repay their debts, giving 5,000 square miles lying south of the Ohio River to the company. The land was then later transferred to a new company known as the Indiana Land Company, becoming home to settlers from Virginia. It was an attempt to sell the land. And it was made to the settlers. But Virginia claimed jurisdiction over the settlers, and they prohibited the sale of the land. It was not until 1790 when the Indiana Company insisted that if the state was determined to hold the land, compensation for the company was needed. The statement did not hold up in state court, making the Indiana Company take it to federal court, later created an amendment for the Constitution that read, "The judicial power of the United States should not be construed to extend to any suit in law or equity commenced or prosecuted against one of the United States by citizens of another state, or by citizens or subjects of any foreign state," basically. Now, while the amendment was sent out for ratification, the Indiana Company lost its claim on the land to Virginia, and the company itself disappeared as well. Now, the land became a part of Virginia, losing its proclaimed Indiana name during that time. And it wasn't until 1800, when Congress divided the Northwest Territory, that Indiana became a prevalent name again. Now, in the early 1800s, when Indiana gained its official name, it was shared with what is now known as Michigan and Illinois. Michigan did not officially become its own state until 1805, and Illinois followed that up in 1809. And basically, so that's it for today. So basically, if you like the video, you can give the video a like and subscribe to my channel, RBW King. You can also hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when a new video comes out. Go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Also, I have another YouTube channel. I'm going to be live on that later on, which is my RBW King Reviews channel. So I'll be live on that one later on, doing a live stream. And also, if you want to support my work even further, you can donate to my Patreon link, which you can find in the About section of YouTube. And for just a little as a few bucks a video or a monthly donation can help go a long way. And thanks for listening.